In the south of Avdiivka, Russian troops took control of a series of trenches adjacent to the summer residence area and the railway line to the outskirts of Zarska Okhota, preparing to storm the city center. Russia occupied a series of positions south of Avdiivka. Syriac Maps channel reported that in the south of Avdiivka, Russian troops attacked and took control of a series of trenches adjacent to the summer residence and the railway line to the outskirts of Zarska Okhota. Due to lack of manpower, the Ukrainian army retreated to the next layer of trenches and the first houses of the urban area. The deterioration of the situation on the Ukrainian side coincides with Russia's resumption of offensive operations on this axis after weeks of troop rotations. Ukraine's Deep State channel admitted the situation worsened east and south of Avdiivka on January 19. Accordingly, in the past 48 hours, Russian troops took advantage of weather conditions to attack Zarska Okhota and southern Kamyanka in the south of the city. The situation got out of control as groups of Russian troops took out a series of positions, bypassing Zarska Okhota along Soborna Street to rush straight into the city center. The situation cannot be ignored or downplayed because Russia blocks logistics routes. Ukrainian forces in general and the 110th Brigade in particular need urgent support. In bad weather, only drones equipped with thermal imaging devices can save lives, so the need to use them is also extremely important. Meanwhile, RV Venkory channel also confirmed that Moscow forces successfully dislodged Ukraine in the south of the city, in the villages of Pervomaysky, Stepovoy, south and southwest of waste treatment facilities, in the Avdiivka 2 area as well. Like Dubrava Station. Ukraine's General Staff. Russia attacked aggressively. Ukrainska Pravda reported that a report from the General Staff of Ukraine on the evening of January 19 said that in the past 24 hours, 87 clashes took place. Russia is actively using aircraft and UAVs, and is conducting offensive operations with the support of armored vehicles. The Ukrainian General Staff announced that it had repelled most of the Russian attacks in Kupiansk, Lyman, Bakhmut, Marinka and Zaporizhia. The fiercest fighting is taking place in Avdiivka. Ukraine's defense forces have repelled 14 enemy attacks in the Avdiivka area and another 17 attacks in the south of Tenenkoy, Pervomayskoy and Nevelskoy in the Donetsk region. Here, Russian troops, with air support, tried to break through Ukraine's defenses but failed. The enemy did not give up the intention of dislodging Ukrainian units from the bridgehead on the left bank of the Dnieper River with 9 unsuccessful assaults, the report said. ISW. Russia considers NATO's exercises a provocative act. Ukrainska Pravda reported that, according to experts at the US-based Institute for the Study of War, ISW, Russia is trying to continue to portray in the information space that NATO's large-scale exercise Steadfast Defender 2024 is provocative. NATO's exercise Steadfast Defender 2024 begins this week and runs until May. The Russian Foreign Ministry announced that NATO is continuing to show off its forces at Russia's doorstep. Russian sources claim that NATO is using the exercises to provoke the Baltic states into preparing for war with Russia and describe such exercises as a series of provocations. Quote, NATO announced major investment in purchasing 155mm artillery shells. European Pravda reported that NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg and Director of the NATO Supply and Support Agency Stacey Cummings will sign an agreement to buy 155mm artillery shells next Tuesday, January 23. NATO did not disclose details of the agreement. After Russia's attack on Ukraine, Western countries, including NATO members, are facing a shortage of artillery shells. According to Western estimates, Ukraine uses up to 10,155mm artillery shells every day. And last February, NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg warned that Kiev was using artillery shells much faster than the West could produce them. The alliance is pushing member countries to overcome protectionist trends and agree on common artillery ammunition standards to increase production. The U.S. is looking to significantly increase the production of artillery shells, up to 100,000 shells per month by 2025 due to Ukraine's rapid consumption rate. Financial Times. Russia may prepare a major attack in the summer. The Financial Times reported that the Ukrainian army is shifting to an active defense posture, and one of the reasons is because Russia may be preparing a new major attack in the summer of 2024. The Financial Times points out that Ukraine has switched to active defense tactics, which was recently once again confirmed by the commander of the Ukrainian army, Alexander Syrsky, when he said that the Ukrainian army's goals remain is to maintain position and exhaust the opponent. Ukrainian security officials believe that Russia could be planning a large-scale attack as early as this summer. The goal would be complete control of Donetsk, Lugansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia. Also, according to officials, another attempt to capture Kharkiv or even Kiev. Ukraine allocated a record amount of $466 million to build defensive fortifications. Kyiv Independent reported that Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said the Ukrainian government had allocated about $17.5 billion, $466 million, to build defensive fortifications and called it a record amount. Before the winter, Ukrainian authorities received some criticism for their slow progress in strengthening defense lines. A group was formed in November to coordinate efforts. Speaking at a press conference in December 2023, President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Kharkiv boasts the strongest fortifications. The president added that he has called on authorities in other regions to achieve similar standards. Responding to Kyiv Independent's question about why Ukraine did not approve the decision on fortification construction until November, Zelensky said these efforts have been underway since the beginning of the conflict and recent measures aimed at further strengthening defense capabilities. Russia is developing a cheaper version of the Shahed drone. TASS on January 18, citing sources from the Stratum Military Design Bureau, reported that Russia is developing a cheaper version of the Shahed drone called Hawk. This unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV, is expected to be cheaper than the Shahed UAV, which was frequently used by Russia in its attack on Ukraine, and is built entirely from commercial parts. Hawk has a flight range of 350 kilometers and can be equipped with a high-explosive warhead with a payload of 16 kilograms. TASS claims the drone will be used as a dummy cruise missile, or decoy target, against Ukraine's air defense systems. The Design Bureau is said to be completing a series of test flights, and the UAV will be completed in the first half of 2024. Ukraine retaliated against Russian oil depots. Guardian reported that Kiev said the attack on Russia's oil depot in Klinsty was part of fair retaliation for Moscow's attack on Ukrainian infrastructure. Kiev admitted it was behind a UAV attack that caused a massive fire at an oil depot in western Russia on Friday, the latest in a series of escalating cross-border attacks. It was the second attack on a Russian oil depot in as many days, part of what Kiev called fair retaliation for Moscow's attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure. According to AFP, officials said the attack was carried out by Ukrainian military intelligence on January 19 against a Rosneft oil storage facility about 50 kilometers from the Ukrainian border in the Russian town of Klinsty. Videos showed a giant fireball ripping through the oil depot's tanks, while a billowing cloud of black smoke engulfed the town of about 60,000 people. Regional Governor Alexander Bogomaz said, 4 oil tanks are burning in Klinsty. For safety reasons, 32 residents were temporarily evacuated to relatives' homes. A temporary accommodation center has been prepared. Mr. Bogomaz previously announced that there were no casualties, but 13 fire trucks were deployed to extinguish the fire. He said the fire started after a UAV dropped projectiles on the warehouse but confirmed it was intercepted. 2 other aircraft targeting the area were shot down by Russian air defense forces. Reduced U.S. aid is unlikely to have a major impact in the short term. CNN, citing anonymous official sources, reported that U.S. intelligence does not believe that the decline in aid to Ukraine will have a major impact on the battlefield in the short term but will become a problem later when Russia reorganizes. More than $61 billion in U.S. support remains stuck in Congress due to political wrangling, raising concerns in Kiev about a shortage of money and weapons needed to fight Russia. According to officials quoted by CNN, Russia is having difficulty regrouping its forces. Despite Ukraine's 2023 counteroffensive and subsequent Russian attacks along the Eastern Front, the front line has remained relatively stable in recent months. Another concern is that European allies could also start reducing aid if they see the U.S. balking. Western weapons shortages could prevent Ukraine from carrying out some of its important operations, such as attacking Russia's Black Sea Fleet and the Crimean Peninsula. Finland says it sees no direct military threat from Russia. Finnish Prime Minister Petteri Orpo said Friday, January 19, at a press conference with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson that Finland does not perceive any military threat directly from Russia. "I don't see any immediate military threat from Russia to Finland," Orpo told reporters in Stockholm. "In Finland, we sleep peacefully at night because we are well prepared." Bisexual.